As the game's testing server for the Airborne update progressed, organized groups began staging battles between themselves to test out the new airplanes and anti-air ships in the upcoming Airborne update. Large coalitions would field a pair of battleships and a swath of anti-air boats against the opposing air forces, just to see how effective planes were against naval targets. And an organized air raid with heavy aircraft and fighters would be pitted against a force of almost a dozen fighter aircraft waiting to intercept them. Just note that a few days after this, the devs updated the server to reduce aircraft health, rebalance specialized aircraft, and increase the effectiveness of anti-air emplacements. They can really shred planes that get a little too close now. Which also prompted its own set of tests because of these balance changes. After a few fighter sorties, I escorted a repurposed Warden torpedo plane into the waters of Silicon Shelf, where I saw a pair of Warden battleships supported by several anti-air boats being pitted against a swarm of colonial aircraft. Apparently, this was a test arranged between the Warden CSU and Colonial NEP coalitions. Colonial aircraft would engage the ships and return to the Axehead airfield to refuel, repair, and rearm. And during the test, Warden air cover would be minimized. It should be noted that while the torpedo bomber was a Warden-exclusive vehicle, the Colonials would get their hands on a few for this test, but that meant that they weren't fielded in large numbers. Regardless, the Colonials' primary damage-dealing aircraft were the strategic bomber and dive bomber. The former could carry a massive amount of ordnance to drop on enemy ships, while the smaller plane had a chance of disabling naval turrets, which were now repairable with a significant number of metal beams. Fighter planes would also join the fray to deal with any stray Warden aircraft and would occasionally strafe naval crews.
Oh my goodness, this is amazing.
Despite all the anti-air cover, I felt safe enough to fly between the battleships and just watch as our torpedo plane dropped its payload. I think the battleship actually hit that plane with its main gun. A swarm of colonial planes continuously attacked the battleships, and if it isn't clear how many there were, each of these green lines represents a single colonial plane. And after a quick pit stop at the Axehead airfield to refuel, I flew back to watch more of the action. This view is something I never thought I'd see in Foxhole. Dive bombers, scout planes, and the torpedo plane dropping ordnance as naval anti-air tried their best to stop them. And then, I saw the shadow of a paratrooper plane.
Is that a paratrooper? Sky Pirate? Sky Pirates! Let's go! Sky Pirates! Oh no! Oh no, 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 no! I have landed. I'm sorry. But can I just stay here for a while? Just don't shoot me down. No, 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 please, please, please! No!
Afterwards, the Colonials seemed to get a lot more aggressive with their dive bombing, and then the Warden battleship momentarily became a submarine. And for the big finale, the Colonials would bring a strategic bomber to drop ordnance on the Warden battleships. The test would conclude with both of the Warden battleships surviving. I respawned at the Godcrofts airfield to find a ride back.
It's a disaster!
You see, one didn't land and then the other landed on him.
So I'm trying to find the truck to get a new tail, but I can use a tail gunner.
Oh! Oh. A dive bomber fell out of the sky. Mine! Just kidding.
Wow. That was indeed a dive bomber.
If anyone's headed to the Warden BS, please take me with you.
You wanna come?
Where are you headed?
Gunner. Dive bombing the battleships.
Yes!
Alright, we should be able to get out. Oh,
Yep,
maybe
we
not.
should.
Yeah,
Oh dear God! Oh my God, that was close.
I told you I was a trained professional.
By the time I returned, they were already cleaning up.
think you hit the turret there. Oh my god, the bomber's going at it.
Oh yeah.
Holy, what a sight.
After dropping all of our remaining ordnance, my pilot made a strange request.
You want to go in for a strafing run? Oh wait, hold on, let me come around here. Light him up! Hey, it's dead!
Yeah, the strafing run did it. The strafing run.
That was all you.
Yeah, all me.
That was all you.
Oh
100%.
my god. See ya, thank you. Ah, don't run me over.
Run him over.
This first test highlighted a few problems that were later addressed by the devs. The onboard anti-air emplacements of the ships would prove ineffective against incoming aircraft due to their limited effective ranges and how tanky those planes were. However, colonial aircraft were unable to sink either unanchored Warden battleship during the test. The next day, it would be the Colonials' turn to defend against the Warden Air Force. But first, I got a taste of what was to come when I hopped onto a lone colonial battleship straying into Warden waters.
Torpedo bomber! Torpedo bomber!
Oh god.
They miss the torpedo bomber? Oh bro, they don't miss, we are sinking! We're sinking! We're going to die, man!
Sadly, we didn't have a lot of crew on board for damage control. We sealed our bulkheads and the Wardens continued to lay on the pain.
Oh, buddy.
The Wardens made quick work of the battleship, and I wondered how the Colonials would fare during the actual test, when we had much more anti-air support. Come the test, the Colonials would bring 2 battleships and a swarm of anti-air boats to the testing area in Weathered Expanse. However, unlike the first test, a miscommunication led to 2 squadrons composed of 10 fighters operating from a nearby airfield, joining the Colonial naval forces. These, along with the Colonial ships anchoring down, would prove necessary for the test to last a reasonable amount of time. The Colonial naval forces would arrive fairly late to the testing area, giving the Wardens ample time to prepare. 17 torpedo planes and multiple bombers would line up at the Clans Head Valley airfield in preparation for the test. The Colonial battleships arrived, lined up, and anchored down. Anchoring down meant that the ships would remain stationary and be immune to having any holes punched into them, preventing the loss of the ship by flooding. They could only be destroyed by completely running the battleship's massive health pool to 0. This was a measure implemented when large ships were introduced, likely to prevent a single hole that people might not be aware of, sinking an unattended parked ship. While the Colonials had dive bombers in the previous test, the Wardens would field a large force of torpedo planes, which in theory could outrange the Colonial ship's anti-air weapons, though with limited training, they frequently flew within visual range. The Colonials prepared for the worst as the test began.
Okay, we are in position, we're gonna wait here. We have 2 battleships, many A-bot and many fighter.
The second.
They are coming, they are here in our X!
Direction?
Close! North!
North.
Holy. Oh! Okay.
Well, he's
We took out one, we got one!
One down. Wasn't even the AA guns, he just flew into the contra.
Shh, don't tell anyone that. Oh god, they're flying so high.
Yeah, that's the way you get out of it.
Oh shit.
Luckily for us, this guy dropped his torpedo way too high. But we were still being completely swarmed by enemy aircraft.
Oh,
hello.
okay, high five. Oh my god. How did that one go down?
lot of planes were falling out of the sky.
Jeez, that scout plane's gone.
Every single bomber that died because it crashed into either the anti-air boats or into the battleship itself.
It's like
there's another one.
Grizzly Bear. It's like a particular in the Grizzly Bear, that's how I want to put it.
Oh, that's... Here they come!
That's a lot of green lines showing friendly planes. I finally saw one of those torpedo planes bleed.
And another one bites the dust.
Our fighter cover couldn't stop every torpedo plane from getting too close. We are not an aircraft carrier.
They taught me. They taught my ship.
Yep, and guess what? The guy who torped you, he's on the battleship.
Honestly,
Oh my god.
oh my god.
Holy
Novels on here, yes.
Yeah, it got HP kills. Full HP kills.
Oh, I didn't notice.
There were massive planes everywhere.
Oh my god.
Jesus. Paratroopers.
Let me in! Let me in, please!
Both colonial battleships sank, and apparently, this was what was flying above our heads. The Wardens would reportedly lose 9 torpedo planes and 3 light bombers during the whole ordeal. However, the tankiness of incoming aircraft allowed them to get close to the battleships without fear. Only fighter aircraft could deny the heavier Warden planes from flying too close, and even then, they struggled. The limited fuel reserves of aircraft meant that the full fighter force couldn't remain in the air all the time, having to travel to a nearby airfield to rearm and refuel. Their airtime could be increased once carriers come into play in a future Devbranch server update. While I was working on this video, carriers got added to Devbranch, and they're a lot of fun. As stated before, a few days after these and many other similar tests were done, a few changes were made to the game. Throttling down aircraft would also increase their range at the cost of top speed. These tests showed that air cover might be a necessity for a lot of naval operations moving forward, at least the ones that occurred during the late game period of Foxhole, when aircraft are expected to become more common. Meanwhile, on dry land, the JGF and Panzerpionier regiments would agree to test out the effectiveness of a full bomber raid. JGF would bring 3 heavy bombers and 4 fighter planes as escort, to meet the 11 fighter planes waiting for them at the targeted airfield. JGF originally planned to stop over at the Godcrofts airfield to refuel, but after determining that the airfield being constantly attacked meant that they might never get to land there, decided that this would be a one-way trip. Unfortunately, we'd lose a fighter and a bomber to a bug while crossing regions. But in the last couple patches to the Devbranch, the devs have fixed a few of these bugs. The remaining formation approached the airfield.
Bump in 3, 2, 1. Bump out, bump out. High bump, each one.
Oh, the lag.
The enemy fighters made their move.
That's a wing. Good.
We were holding back the swarm of fighters just fine, and then the bombers started running out of fuel.
Oh. Oh no!
The crew disembarked to engage the enemy on foot, while the tail gunner and I stayed behind.
Oh, he's up. I'm empty. Oh no.
It's a Warden! Hello, my friend! Hello.
Hey, Eric, is there ammo in the front gun? Oh!
It was a good attempt. The Devbranch was then updated. The new map regions were added, and new balance changes were worked in. And of course, this meant new tests. 11E would have their colonial counterparts fly the improved dive bombers and bombers against their own battleship to test out the damage. Of course, after an organized 6v6 dogfight. I'd lose part of my tail and have my plane slammed into the ground. But at least I remembered to put up my landing gear this time. The dive bombers took off to engage the battleship, but as usual, my dive bomber luck came into play.
Oh no! Oh no no! Oh, we're okay, we're okay.
We caught up to them and started dropping our payload.
We are getting smokes. Oh.
Apparently, one of those fighters chasing us lost its wing to a bomb being dropped on it. With the new buffs, those dive bombers seem pretty effective for disabling naval turrets. So, 11E brought out the bombers for the next test. While on approach, we were engaged by enemy sea fighters, and one of them found the blind spot of the bomber. At least they couldn't shoot at us from there.
What in the Puga Chips, Cobra? Aww.
These kind of battles are what the Devbranch was made for, so we can test out what works and what doesn't. Foxhole is a very complicated game, and testing out elements that only work with hundreds if not thousands of players online is necessary to fine-tune the balance, logistics, and player sanity. I'm looking forward to playing around more with the carriers now that they're out in Devbranch.
The number of planes that die from missing the runway or the
Dude.
flight deck is insane.
If anyone posts a YouTube video on this, they're just gonna put like a ticker of how many planes sank.
Yeah.
Oh no! That's...
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
That doesn't count.
It doesn't
That doesn't
count.
count. Where's the elevator, please?
It's still kind of hard to believe that Foxhole's getting carriers.